Hello, this is Mohammed Osman from Mentors for Development, and let me introduce you to this course, Data Analysis with R. In this first lecture, we are going to study the structure of this course, the content of this course, and then we're going to be introduced to introduction to data and R. So let me introduce you to the structure of the course. In each lecture, we're going to study some theory, revision of the basic concepts. This is what I believe, that if you don't understand the basic concepts, basic statistical concepts, you might be applying some wrong data analysis technique to a wrong type of the data, and you might be doing some wrong analysis if you don't understand the concepts. So first we need to cover all those basic concepts, and then we're going to play with R. Without understanding basic theory, playing with R is not that fruitful. You might be doing some wrong analysis. So we're going to do some practical, after discussing theory, we are going to do some practical assignments, practical sessions in R, and then I'm going to give you some assignment for practice as well. So you will be given some amount of time to play with R as well. Let me introduce you to the content of the course. In the first section, you will be introduced to the basics of R, the history of R, how to install R, what are the basic grammar, the basic ABC of the R, and then what is the basic of the data and data analysis as well. What are the basic concepts of the data and data analysis? The content of the course, in the first section, you're going to be introduced to descriptive statistics, and in that you're going to study data visualization, where you will be drawing some beautiful graphs, and first you're going to be introduced to the theory behind all those graphs. Suppose if you'll be introduced to the theory, the application, and what are the weaknesses of the pie chart, when it is going to be used, and what are the interpretation of the pie chart, when we are going to use the bar chart, when we are going to use the scatter plot and how to interpret that, what is the theory behind that. Histogram we are going to study, segmented bar plot we are going to study, and how and in which cases we are going to use, and what is the interpretation of the segmented bar plot. Then we are going to study the box plot and the side-by-side whisker plot, when it is used, and how we are going to draw the conclusion from that visual. Then we are going to study, if suppose we have one variable, one numeric variable, one categorical variable, how we're going to analyze that single variable. What are the options for analysis with us? Suppose if we are going to study the center of the data, the spread of the data, data distribution shapes, like whether it is normal or not normal. We're going to study all those things. Don't worry about it. What is the meaning of the normal data? What is, what are the tests to check the normality? What are the graphs to check the normality of the data? We're going to study that in detail. Then what are the options if we have a single numeric variable, what kind of graphs we can draw? And if we have a single categorical variable, we're going to study which type of analysis we can do with a single categorical variable. Now we are going to be introduced in this course to what is numeric, categorical, and all those types of the data. Don't worry about that. So the next thing is, if you have two variables, if you're asked to analyze those two variables together, if you're asked to draw some conclusion about the relationship of those two variables, so that's called the bivariate analysis. And that, the first option is the two-way table. What is the purpose of the two-way table and how it is done in R. Then we are going to study relationship analysis through contingency table, and what is the theory of this contingency table, what is basically contingency table and how to draw that in R practically. And then we're going to study the scatter plot. What is the basic ABC of the scatter plot and how to draw that in R. Then we're going to study the correlation matrix as well, how to do that in practically in R, and what is the theory, who was the person that first time introduced the correlation, and what are the things that we need to do first. What are the things that we need to check before doing correlation matrix, before calculating correlation matrix. What are the things that we need to check? Most of the people do not know that you need to check something before calculating the correlation matrix. So the next thing is remember the descriptive statistic. If suppose you have two variable and you have some linear relationship, how to apply the linear model. I'm not talking about the inferential statistic at this stage. And then if you have exponential model, and then what is if you have logistic growth model, we are going to study the ABC of those models and doing practically that in R and how to interpret it. The last part of the course will be inferential statistics, and this is if you are collecting some sample, doing some survey based on some sample, and on the basis of that you're doing some inferential analysis for the population. So in that case you're going to study correlation tests, hypothesis testing. What is hypothesis testing, and what is the concept of and process of the hypothesis testing. Then we're going to study different type of hypothesis testing: single mean hypothesis testing, hypothesis testing for two independent samples, hypothesis testing for paired sample, and then ANOVA if you have multiple variables and multiple means and you want to compare them, and COA. And then we're going to study a simple regression analysis, and in the last we are going to study what is called multiple regression analysis. With that we are going to end this course, and then you will be moved to another course, advanced course on data visualization. So good luck for this course, and if you're a beginner to this subject, you are new, you do not understand anything of the statistics, this course is for you. Thank you very much.